And Pilate wrote a title too and put it on the stake. And it was written, Yahushua of Nazareth, the sovereign of the Yahudim. This is huge, hugely important for quite many reasons. I think most of you already know, but let's do it for those that don't. So, Yahushua, right? Sadly, they write Christian because the Nazarim, right? You see? Well, the Nazarim, he was from Nazareth. So those who started believing in Yahushua as the Messiah started to be called the Nazarim, right? So then in the Hebrew of nowadays, the modern Hebrew, which is not like the one in the Torah, they use Nazarim or Notzri, which is someone from Nazareth, as a word for Christian, even though it's not at all that. Now you can see Nazareth, you see Nazar is right here, just to show you that it is that word and not as they are translating it. Then is Hanotzri Umelech, which means and king. That's right. Of the Yahudim. So you see the last part is perfect. Well, not perfect because it's not Jews, it's Yahudim. It shouldn't be Christian, it should be Notzri or from Nazareth. And it shouldn't be Joshua, it should be Yahushua. Right? So you understand why Google is saying that it is this, even though it's not. I hope that's good. So this is what it would have been in Hebrew. Yahushua Hanotzri Umelech Yahudim. I'm sorry, Umelech HaYahudim. And king of the Yahudim, not just Yahudim. You see how the translator is trying to switch it to Yeshua instead of Yahushua? So it recognizes that this was the title. It recognizes that I'm talking about the Messiah, Yahushua, whom they decided to call Yeshua. So he's trying to change it from Yahushua to Yeshua. But it is recognizing that this is the title that was written by Pilate. All right. Now, remember that something that happens a lot in Hebrew is that we can use the first, like I said, the um, play on words that it is commonly done in Hebrew. One of them is making a word with the first letter of each word of a phrase. For instance, like I mentioned, they wanted to destroy the name of the Messiah. That's why they made this curse. Yemach Shemo Vet Zikro. May his name and memory be erased. You see? So this is the most common Jewish curse. Yamach Shemo Betzikro. Now look at this. You see how now it changed from Yeshua to this? Took the ayin out. This would be Yeshu, which is how the Jews who rejected him started calling him Yeshu. Then they changed it to Yeshua. But we have Yeshu here. Why Yeshu? Because they took from this curse, Yamach Shemo Betzikro, the Yud, then the Shin, and then the Vav. And you have Jesus, Yeshu. So you see how the name Jesus, which came from Yeshu, came originally from this curse because they wanted to destroy and erase the memory of the name of the Messiah. That's why they changed it to Jesus. Even if we were to take this Zayin that is next to the Vav. Oh well, I took the Vav. I'm sorry. The Zayin, which is that would be let him destroy it. Jesus. So if we do that same thing with the title, the Pilate wrote on top of the cross, we got the Yud, we got the Hey, then a Vav, and then another Hey. So by Pilate writing Yahushua Hanotzri Umelech Hayaudim, meaning Yahushua, um, the one from Nazareth, right? Hanotzri, and king of the Yaudim, by taking the first letter of each word, we get Yahweh. So they would be able to see that the one who was being sacrificed was Yahweh himself. Now, this is the reason why in the Catholic churches, the Roman idol that they have, they always write on top of the cross this INRI. Maybe you've seen it. INRI, 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 everywhere. INRI, INRI. Now, look, I kind of looks like a J. Why? Because the I became a J in some words during the 17th century. So, first, this, well, before I say that, you see, so INRI, as it says here, on a cross is an abbreviation of the Latin phrase, they say Jesus, Nazarenus, Rex, Judaeorum, right? Meaning Yahushua, originally, Yahushua. So you see how originally it didn't have a letter J. It was the letter Yud, which is like a letter I, at least the pronunciation of the I in Spanish, for instance, which is E. That's another pronunciation in English, right, for another letter. But E. Why? Because it starts Yahushua. Yahushua. So that shows that the name of the Messiah and the name of the Yahudim starts with a Yud, not with a letter J. Nazarenus, right, from Nazareth. Rex is king, like the dinosaur, for instance, the king of the dinosaurs. So, king of the Yahudim. Oh, there you go. So you see how INRI would be the equivalent in Latin of, as we just saw, Yahweh. And I don't mean that INRI is how you would say Yahweh in Latin. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that just like they took the first letter of the four words and made up the word INRI, that's exactly what we need to do, but in Hebrew, to get the name Yahweh. Because if you get the Hebrew and get the first four letters of the four words, you get the name Yahweh. I hope that's understood. So when you see INRI, you should actually be seeing Yahweh. Like one should remember that it should be Yahweh. You see how the JNRJ, and well, that's an I, but it looks like a J, and that was just to show how the I became a J. But originally, it should be a Yud for Yahushua, not Jesus, but Yahushua. So going back here, and Pilate wrote a title too and put it on the stake, and it was written Yahushua of Nazareth, the sovereign of the Yahudim.